This is the strangest parrot species on the planet. It weighs up to 4 kilograms, can't fly, and gives off a strong scent of wild honey. Ironically, that unique trait made it one of the easiest targets for predators. By 1995, only 51 kakapos remained in the world. In response, the New Zealand government launched an unprecedented rescue operation, relocating every surviving bird to remote predator-free islands. At first, everything seemed perfectly safe. Then, scientists discovered an unexpected problem. Despite being healthy, well-fed, and protected from predators, the birds refused to reproduce. It was as if they would rather go extinct than breed in an artificial paradise. The answer was hidden in an ancient survival rule that scientists didn't even know existed. For 60 million years, New Zealand had no terrestrial mammalian predators. The kakapo's only natural enemies were birds of prey, so it evolved a remarkably simple defense strategy. When danger approached, it remained completely still. Its green plumage allowed it to blend into the moss-covered forest floor. However, everything changed when humans arrived, bringing feral cats, rats, and stoats. For predators that hunted by smell, the kakapo's scent and habit of freezing in place made it an easy target. By the 1970s, many scientists believed the species was already extinct. Then, in 1974, 18 surviving birds were discovered in some of New Zealand's most remote valleys. But there was one devastating problem. All 18 were males. A few years later, another small population was found on Stewart Island, this time including females. However, feral cats were hunting them at an alarming rate. Time was running out, and a historic decision was made. Every remaining kakapo had to be evacuated. By 1995, the last 51 kakapos on Earth had been transported by helicopter to predator-free islands. Scientists were confident that, with safety and abundant food, the population would quickly recover. But the results were deeply disappointing. Between 1980 and 1995, only 3 chicks survived from all nesting attempts. At first, rats were blamed. After they were eradicated and nests were placed under constant protection, nothing changed. The population still failed to recover. Every obvious threat had been removed, yet the birds still refused to breed. The mystery wasn't new. In fact, its roots stretched back more than a century. The history of conservation had already recorded a painful lesson about this strategy. Back in 1894, a naturalist named Richard Henry relocated nearly 400 kakapos to Resolution Island, creating what became the world's first island wildlife reserve. However, nature proved unforgiving. In 1900, stoats managed to reach the island and wiped out almost the entire population within a few years. For Richard Henry, it was a devastating failure. A century later, conservationists tried again. This time, the islands were safer than ever. Predators were gone. Food was abundant. Yet the birds still refused to breed. It took years of research before scientists finally discovered what was missing. The kakapo was responding to a single environmental signal, the fruiting cycles of the rimu tree, which produces massive crops only once every 2 to 6 years. Researchers eventually discovered that rimu fruit contains unusually high levels of calcium, and more importantly, vitamin D3. For female kakapos, which must raise their chicks alone, this nutrient acts like a biological switch. Without rimu, there is no nest. No matter how much food humans provide, females simply refuse to lay eggs when rimu fruit is scarce. Then, in 2002, the rimu trees on Codfish Island produced an exceptionally large crop of fruit. For the first time in years, the door to reproduction opened once again. Hoping to maximize the number of chicks, conservationists decided to provide females with additional high-quality food. The logic seemed simple. Healthier mothers should produce more offspring. At first, the plan appeared to work. A new generation of chicks was born. But when scientists examined the results, they were stunned. Nearly 70% of the chicks were males. This was a serious problem because the population already suffered from a shortage of females, and the imbalance had now become even worse. The explanation lay in the species' evolutionary biology. Male kakapos are 40% larger than females and require significantly more energy to develop. When food is abundant, females become more likely to produce sons. The solution was completely unexpected. Instead of providing more food, conservationists had to carefully limit it. Females received enough nutrition to breed successfully, but not enough to become excessively heavy. Once this adjustment was implemented, the sex ratio quickly returned to nearly 50-50. The results were immediate. During the 2002 breeding season alone, the population increased by 39%. For the second time, the Kakapo had forced scientists to rethink what they thought they knew. Saving the species was not about giving it more. It was about recreating the conditions it had evolved with over millions of years. From that point forward, the recovery of the Kakapo became closely tied to the rhythm of every new rimu season. As the population slowly recovered, conservationists faced a new challenge. Almost every surviving bird was genetically important. With only 36 remaining genetic lineages, every egg mattered. In many ways, Kakapo eggs became more valuable than diamonds. When a female lays an egg, conservationists carefully replace it with an artificial one. Created with 3D printing technology, these replicas match the originals in weight and appearance, and even contain a tiny speaker. As the expected hatching date approaches, the artificial egg plays chick vocalizations, helping prepare the mother for the arrival of her offspring. The strategy produced an unexpected advantage. Because females no longer had to spend weeks incubating their first clutch, they recovered much faster. During years when rimu trees produced exceptionally large fruit crops, some females began nesting for a second time in the same season. The results were remarkable. In 2019 alone, around 30 females produced a second nest, helping create a record-breaking year in which 73 chicks successfully left their nests. Behind the statistics and technology, however, conservationists began to recognize something equally important. Every Kakapo had its own personality. The most famous example was Sirocco, a male Kakapo that had been hand-raised from an early age. In 2009, during a live BBC broadcast, Sirocco suddenly jumped onto a wildlife presenter's head and began performing a mating display in front of an international audience. The clip quickly went viral around the world. Rather than trying to hide the incident, New Zealand embraced it, officially naming Sirocco an ambassador for the species and allowing him regular contact with the public. His unpredictable behavior reminded people that these birds were far more than numbers in a conservation database. Then, just as the program was celebrating its greatest breeding success, disaster struck. In 2019, an outbreak of aspergillosis, a fungal respiratory disease, spread unexpectedly through the population on Codfish Island. The combination of close nesting behavior and the reduced genetic diversity caused by inbreeding left the birds especially vulnerable. 21 kakapos became infected, and 9 of them died. The crisis forced conservationists to evacuate 51 birds to the mainland for treatment. For many involved in the program, the number carried an uncomfortable reminder of 1995, when only 51 kakapos remained alive on Earth. The outbreak served as a warning that even after decades of success, a single disease could still threaten everything that had been achieved. To reduce that risk, conservationists began establishing additional populations outside the islands. In 2023, 20 males were transferred to the Mangatotari Wildlife Reserve, a protected mainland sanctuary surrounded by nearly 50 kilometers of predator-proof fencing. Yet the Kakapo once again proved unwilling to follow human expectations. Using their powerful beaks and surprisingly strong claws, several birds managed to climb the nearly 2-meter-high fence and escape. Conservation teams were forced to track them down, recapture them, and redesign sections of the barrier. After more than 40 years of conservation efforts, the lesson remained the same. Every time humans believed they had solved the problem, the Kakapo found a new way to challenge them. The truth is that every conservation success is built on enormous effort, sacrifice, and patience. Today, those efforts have created what once seemed impossible. During the latest breeding season, rimu trees produced an extraordinary amount of fruit. 80 nests were formed, 256 eggs were laid, and 95 chicks successfully fledged, breaking the previous record from 2019. But the most impressive number is this. In 1995, the program had only 20 breeding females. Today, after 31 years of strict food control and genetic monitoring, that number has grown to 83. The total population has reached around 247 birds, each with its own name and detailed records. Every success came from understanding the Kakapo instead of forcing it to change. They refused to breed when rats threatened them. They refused to nest without rimu fruit. They produced more males when overfed and escaped fences when humans tried to contain them. They forced scientists to create one of the most advanced conservation systems in the world, a system built not on control, but on understanding what nature allows and the limits it refuses to cross. So here's my question for you. Do we have the right to change nature, even to stop a species from going extinct? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you enjoy stories like this, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.